Welcome to Section 2 of your Care Partner Orientation. In this lesson, we're discussing HIPAA, privacy, and confidentiality. As a care partner, you may have access to extremely personal information about the people we serve. This may include medical conditions, medications, family information, addresses, schedules, personal conversations, and other private information. Clients and their families trust Agnes and Sandy's caring hands with that information. Protecting their privacy is not optional. It is an important part of your professional responsibility. HIPAA stands for the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. One of the things HIPAA is known for is establishing standards for protecting certain health information. You do not need to become a HIPAA attorney to do your job correctly. What you do need to remember is simple. Client information is private. You should only access, use, or share information necessary to perform your assigned responsibilities and only through authorized methods. Protected information goes far beyond someone's diagnosis. A client's name combined with information about their health or care may be protected information. Their medications, diagnosis, treatment, care plan, appointment schedule, and other health information should be treated as confidential. You should also protect personal information you learn simply because you're working inside the client's home. Being invited into someone's home does not give you permission to discuss their life with other people. A good rule is to operate on a need-to-know basis. You may need information from a client's care plan because you're responsible for providing that care. But another care partner who isn't assigned to that client doesn't automatically need to know what's happening with them. Curiosity is not a business reason. Even within Agnes and Sandy's caring hands, client information should only be accessed or discussed when necessary and appropriate for someone's job responsibilities. One of the easiest ways to accidentally violate confidentiality is through conversation. Imagine leaving a client's home and calling a friend. You say, "You would not believe what happened with my client today." Even if you don't intend to harm anyone, you've potentially disclosed private information. Don't tell your spouse. Don't tell your best friend. Don't tell another employee just because they're curious. What happens during a client's care stays confidential unless there is a legitimate reason to report or communicate that information. Cell phones create another major privacy risk. Never screenshot client information simply for convenience. Never send client information to friends, family members, or unauthorized employees. Don't leave confidential information visible where someone else can access it. Follow Agnes and Sandy's caring hands approved communication procedures when communicating about clients. If you're ever uncertain whether something can be sent electronically, contact your supervisor before sending it. Never assume that because a client likes you, you have permission to photograph or record them. You should not take pictures or videos of clients for your personal use. You should especially never post clients on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, or any other social media platform. This also includes seemingly innocent content. For example, you might think, "My client turned 100 today. Let me take a picture and post it." Don't. Follow agency policy and obtain appropriate authorization whenever photography or recording is legitimately necessary. Removing someone's name does not necessarily make a social media post appropriate. For example, "My dementia client had me running around all day." You didn't say their name, but you've still shared information about someone you care for. Another person may be able to identify the client based on your workplace, location, photographs, previous posts, or other information. The safest rule is simple. Do not post about your clients or their private circumstances. Working inside someone's home gives you access to areas of their life most people never see. Respect that privilege. Do not go through drawers, cabinets, mail, financial documents, medications, or personal belongings unless doing so is specifically necessary and authorized as part of the client's care. Something being visible doesn't make it your business. Care partners may sometimes receive questions from family members. A person may say, "I'm his daughter. Tell me what happened today." Don't assume someone's relationship to the client automatically authorizes you to disclose everything. Follow the client's authorized communication arrangements and agency procedures. When you're unsure, don't guess. Contact the office. Electronic and paper records must also be protected. Never give another employee your login credentials. Never allow someone to document under your account. When you're finished using a system containing client information, log out appropriately. And remember that documentation must always be truthful and accurate. Your electronic login represents you. Your friend asks, "What's wrong with that lady you take care of every day?" The answer is simple. You don't tell them. You could say, "I'm not allowed to discuss my clients." That's it. You don't need to explain the diagnosis or give hints about what's happening. What would you do? A client's family member asks you to text them a picture of the client's medication bottles. Don't automatically send the photograph. Contact your supervisor and follow agency procedures. Remember, your responsibility isn't to decide who should have access to protected information. When you're unsure, escalate the request. What would you do? You accidentally send client information to the wrong person. Do not delete the message and pretend it didn't happen. Report the mistake to your supervisor or administrator immediately. Privacy incidents need to be evaluated and handled appropriately. Trying to hide a mistake can make the situation significantly worse. Agnes and Sandy's caring hands expects honesty and immediate reporting when something goes wrong. If you believe client information has been lost, stolen, accessed improperly, or disclosed to an unauthorized person, immediately notify your supervisor or administrator. Don't investigate the situation yourself. Don't attempt to cover it up. Report exactly what happened so the agency can determine the appropriate next steps. You won't be expected to memorize every privacy regulation. Instead, remember this rule. If you're unsure whether you're allowed to share client information, stop and contact your supervisor. It is much easier to ask permission before information is disclosed than to correct an unauthorized disclosure afterward. Before completing this lesson, remember these key points. Client information must be treated as confidential. Only access information you need to perform your responsibilities. Never casually discuss clients. Never post client information, photographs, or stories on social media. Protect your passwords and documentation. And immediately report suspected privacy or confidentiality violations. Protecting privacy is part of protecting the dignity of every person we serve.